Regarding item 5, mayor appointment of John Adams as Park and Recreation Director, I am asking the council members to reject this appointment and table it for further discussion. John Adams happens to be the retired Westland Fire Marshal, for those of you who are not aware of it. John Adams has no experience in parks and recreation. He is a friend of the mayor. It's cronyism at its worst. Cronyism, the mayor appointed John Adams' son, Devin Adams, purchasing director, making over $80,000 fresh out of school. This is a classic case of double dipping, just like Michael Reddy, the retired fire chief, and now he's the present fire chief. He's making over $240,000 a year now at our expense. 104 in retirement, 115 as chief, and over $21,000 for health insurance. And then the mayor had the audacity, he chastised you council members just recently for not giving Michael Reddy a $15,000 raise. I mean, I think our mayor should resign. Talk about pigs at the trough. Wild gave out 5-year generic buyouts to get police and fire off the payroll, and now he wants to hire them back. Maybe he is out of his mind. He sure doesn't represent a mayor, not in a city our size. John Adams' pension represents hitting the lottery, about $4 million on the backs of the taxpayers over his lifetime. After a measly 20 years of work, he hired in 1993, and he's been retired for almost 2 years, you figure. He's receiving a pension of $88,576. That's right on the paper. Anybody can check it out. In fact, I have it. $88,576 for working a measly 20 years. No one in the real world could make that. No real business would be able to stay in business if they let anybody in their right mind retire after a measly 20 years. He should be receiving about $20,000, and that's the reality. At the end of the day, William Weil and James Godbout have rigged the police and fire retirement formula to make the police and fire retirees millionaires on the backs of the citizens. The citizens have said, a lot of the citizens have said that they've been bought out by the police and fire union because the police and fire union, we need to have an ordinance. They continue year after year to give tens of thousands of dollars out to the mayor and James Godbout, Adam Hammonds, in the form of campaign money. Some people that live in the real world call it payola money. And in return, our mayor has sold this out. A committee against fraud. What's going to happen is no one's going to be able to afford to live in this city with these ridiculous pensions. Our millage, we're paying $15 million a year now just for police and fire retirement. And
To know how many times you can retire from the city and get a pension. Do they get the pension at the time they retire? I'm very upset about this appointment. I'm very upset about the 2 people that were not renewed their contracts. They were dedicated people to the mayor and to the city, doing a great job. And if you get rid of people that are doing a great job and putting somebody in that doesn't, that's already been retired and working other places, something's wrong somewhere. So I'd like to know how many times you can retire and how many pensions can one person get from the city. That's it.
Real quick, thank you, everyone. Question number 1, reappointment of city attorney. What is the current yearly cost or new cost for the city attorney services? And that's not on the agenda, so I didn't see it. Question 2, when was the last time we looked at another law firm for a competitive bid on the same subject? And finally, for item 5, reappointment or appointment of John Adams, what is the total compensation package? Could you please detail the package such as wage, vacation, 401k match, car allowance? Thank you. That's it.
One on my left. And one on my right. On the city attorney's budget, Mr. McNamara.
Yes, Council President. In terms of the pay rate for the city attorney's office, that's in the budget each year.
It is billed at an hourly rate comparable to the city's insurer, but there's no set dollar amount for the law department. It's set at the budget time.
Thank you. And that is accurate. Actually, the budget gets set by the council. We review their rate structure on a regular basis during the budget time, and it's part of the annual city budget. Is there any,
For the city of Westland, effective January 1, 2016 through December 31, 2016.
Councilman Johnson?
Yes, I'd like to move that this item be postponed pending contractual language.
Motion by Councilman Johnson, supported by Councilwoman Ciccarelli Bryant. Is there any discussion? Any discussion? Any dissent? Any dissent? Hearing no dissent, motion carries unanimously.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's pretty sad when a resident has to come up here and answer the question, how much does Mr. Fasone make? Well, the last couple years, he's made $800,000 a year. That's his contract, $800,000 a year. It wasn't that many years ago, he got $500,000, and the mayor raised it to $600,000. Now it's up to $800,000. And one of the reasons I think they have to pay him so much more is
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Pat. I am a resident of the city of Westland. Do want to congratulate Mr. Hersberg for being elected to council. I wasn't going to speak, but one of the things that struck me was when it was asked what the city attorney's wages were, it took another gentleman to come up here and tell us. I think we need some fresh air. I'm going to withhold my judgment on Councilman Hersberg. I hope everybody listens to that, because that's what everybody wants, is open and honest discussion. That's where I'm going to leave it. Thank you.
Is there anyone on my left?
Good evening, Bill Campbell. I had a speech tonight, but my question wasn't answered on new business. I was going to ask it up here using my 3 minutes through the chair to any council member that wishes to answer. What was the compensation package for the new appointment for the director's position?
It hasn't been determined yet. The contract hasn't come forward to us, which is why it was postponed.
Okay, so you don't have no wages, no nothing.
Yes, it's correct.
Huh, okay. Thanks, appreciate that. Seems unusual.
Well, I didn't get an answer. I'd like to know how many times somebody can get a pension out of the city. And I think a lot of other people would like to know. Also, it's been suggested to me by several people, we need to get a term limit on the council. Wayne has it, and it's a much smaller city, because it's getting ridiculous.
Was their budgeted number and what's their hourly rate? And it was brought up, their budgeted number is $800,000. Their hourly rate is $130 per hour. They've been our city attorney for quite a while. At this point, I don't think that we could go out and get a bid for less than $130 an hour, so they do a great job for us. $800,000 a budgeted number. We take a look at what we spent the year before as we do our budget process, and we budget that number. That doesn't mean we're going to spend that much. And the one thing that I think a lot of people forget about is, out of that budget, about 2/3 of the money that we spend on the city attorney is for the city's prosecution at the 18th District Court. So it was brought up about lawsuits. The city does have an insurance company that handles the lawsuits for us, and if it's a suit that's going to be turned over to our insurance company, the insurance company's attorneys handle those, not our local city attorney. And thank you, council, for also moving forward with the reappointment.
Law office in the sense of transparency, as some of you said. The law office gives us a way below market hourly rate. You could not hire an attorney for yourself for the hourly rate that we pay. As the mayor said, the majority of the money spent on prosecuting at the court. If you compare us to other cities, you'll note that city attorney relationships with the city governments do not switch very often. It's very problematic. You just don't bid them out every year. We have so many cases that go on and lap over from fiscal year to fiscal year that the logistics of switching to another company in midstream would just cost hundreds of thousands of dollars. So that's one reason why you see law firms not changing very much, no matter what city you decide to investigate on that particular item. We're very happy with their work. They do a great job, and they give us a below market rate. So I guess that's the best I can say on that for you. The controversial item that was pulled from the table, I don't know what's going to happen. Of course, we can only comment or send messages to the mayor of our happiness or unhappiness as individuals when we're not in the council chambers. That's the law. So apparently, there was quite a few of us that still figured we needed more information or needed to tweak the contract or needed to do this or needed to do that. I can't speak for anybody else. I can just tell you that I wanted some changes and said I wasn't happy and I wouldn't be voting on it tonight. So I don't know what everybody else said. I'm assuming that that happened to quite a few. But in that same vein of transparency, whether Mr. Adams gets the job or not, I don't know. I couldn't honestly tell you that tonight. But as far as his qualifications, he has a bachelor's degree in business. He has a master's degree in organizational leadership and administration. He's had a command position and a job that had a bigger budget with 10 times more employees and 5 times more duties than he'll have as Park and Recreation Director under his belt. So I cannot honestly say he's not qualified. He's certainly qualified for the job. It's a matter of working out whether we decide to give it to him or not. But as far as coming up and questioning his qualifications, really? A bachelor's degree, master's degree, and the experience he has running employees and large budgets? I think that fits the bill. But that's just me, again. That's it for me tonight.